All right, guys, welcome back to the Always Forward podcast. And we have a repeat offender. This is number 22, Sid.
So the first time I've been a repeat offender, Nick.
I know that for a fact. I've heard all the stories. How you doing, man?
Amazing, man. Thanks for having me back.
No, thanks for bringing me back.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to do another podcast. Nick, get on a plane. I can't come to you. One of these days, I'm going to get you to come to me. Or what if we actually do a podcast? The next one, this is the deal. The next podcast that I do with you needs to be in South Carolina at your place. We'll just do it remote.
That'd be a cool one.
Yeah, on the back porch.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. As long as it's not too windy, because no one will hear us.
Yeah. All right. So, Core Medical. Oh, man. How's everything going?
Good. I mean, you're deeply involved. Inspirational over there. Got a lot of changes going on. Super excited. We just came out of that big meeting today, and it was great. Whenever you bring in an outsourced party into your business, and you're so involved, so deeply involved, like we are in all of our businesses, right? We're super hands-on. It opens up your perspective of the business like dramatically. People have that fear of bringing in someone and having them diagnose their company and worrying about their flaws.
Yeah, because they're going to point blame at some level.
Exactly.
Of what could be doing better.
Yeah, I mean, on top of it too, like we were talking about in the car, we both really hit the nail on the head. So the people we dealt with today were very expensive. Yeah. Very expensive people. Yeah. Very smart people.
Very smart people.
One of them, actually, if not both of them, some of the smartest people I know. And
we're talking specifically operations, right? Like
operations, how to maximize.
How to handle patients better and
We work for the patients, so we need to make sure their experience is the best as possible, right? So I have a team of guys that are coming in and they're doing a full revamp, rebranding, the whole 9 yards for the entire company. And a lot of people, they hold on to that money so tight, and it really hurts them in the long run because they have the ability to rip that Band-Aid off, spend some money now, and have that long-term, clean, custom growth. Yeah. And I feel like that's what we did today.
Well, not just that, but like you said, the patients are the ones that feel it.
That's right.
They feel the ease of the operations of being taken care of better.
Yeah, I mean, we're dealing with something now, quite frankly, and I'm not afraid to say it. We had a massive influx in patients in March. Yeah. And we have some people that are disappointed.
Because we didn't get back to them in
a good period of time, and my deepest apologies. And the only thing I can do now is do better. I mean,
well, it's crazy. Is like we're not like at the end of the day. One of the biggest things that I like about Core is the connection between the people, right? And obviously we service a lot of vets, and you get on the phone or you fill out that form, you're talking to Craig or David. Those are the names. So if you guys ever call,
Craig, David, or Travis.
Oh, Travis, right? And these are so there's three human beings.
Sorry if you guys get Travis. Just kidding.
If you're listening to this, that was podcast 19. Go back and meet Travis.
Exactly.
So, and that's really the biggest thing is I tell people, I'm like, hey, listen, you fill this out, either Craig, David, or Travis is going to hit you up. They're all great dudes. It's not some dude overseas. Yeah, exactly. It's not a call center. And you actually brought that up. You're like, I will never.
Well, they tried outsource. They didn't in the beginning. They didn't really understand the business model, and they're like, well, if you really want to scale, maybe we should talk. I'm like, absolutely not. The people that you're going to speak to are going to be trained from the ground up and understand. I mean, if you get on the phone with our patient coordinators, people care. They care, but they call in like, hey, can I talk to Dr. Stevens, please? Matt's on the phone. He's like, hey, man, just so you know, I'm not a doctor, but. Thanks for the.
I'm a dude that's on TRT like you.
Yeah. It just takes a lot of time understanding the element of the business that I'm in. Yeah. So it's it was a great opportunity today. I think it was a great learning experience for me, and it takes those blinders off. And when you have guys come in there that are like that have had past opportunities of growing companies that are serious companies, and they come and they look at your company and they're like, wow, man, you guys are really doing a great job here. And the tweaks aren't major. You're like, oh, hell yeah, that's great news, So it's not always
bad. He did say that. He's like, you guys are making my job really easy.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, the thing is, is like, we've talked about this before, like hiring right, getting out of the way, letting people do their deal, not thinking you can control everything. Like those are the things that make you get in that stage of just idlement as a business owner unless you really expand your view on people that can help you.
When did you do that though? Because like when you started Core, it was just a handful of people, right?
No, I mean the room we're in right now, I'd say it's about 300 square feet.
And you were doing almost everything. You and the doctor, working with,
So I had
was Dr. K originally?
No, it was a different doc that we had back then. It was almost 13 years ago. Still friends with him today, and it was a room that was 300 square feet. It was myself, it was Rick, and I had one other gentleman there help me out, and basically I was setting up booths at gyms. I was calling on people. I was asking friends for referrals.
You were telling me the other night you were like working your ass. Like,
dude, it was insane. I mean, we've spoken about it before. Like I was just only work. I wasn't present at home. I wasn't a great dad then. And that's hard, but someone suffers when you're starting a business. Yeah. I mean, but it's such a slow growth period. And I'll tell you the story real quick. Yeah. So I don't know if everyone recalls, but back about 12 years ago, there still is a major epidemic for pain management in South Florida. There was these pill mills everywhere. Well, it turns out I opened up this HRT clinic about 6 months before the most massive sting in our history of pill mills. Well, along with these owners of the pill mills, 90% of them owned HRT clinics as well. So they were in an HRT field and they were doing pill mills. They were shipping out Percocets, Vicodins, and they're sending testosterone.
That was legal?
No, it wasn't legal at all.
Oh.
Back in the day when you got in this industry, most of the people would send you a sushi menu. You check off Nandrolone, Decanate, Oxandrolone, Winstrol, growth hormone. You could compound growth hormone then. And all of a sudden you'd send in your CBC comp metabolic panel and stuff would show up at your door. It was insane. So my business partner and I really wanted to do this thing right from the foundation. And we came into the industry taking really no risk, doing testosterone, people seeing our doctor, us waivers, blood work correct, the whole 9 yards. That was the person who paved that line for me was a gentleman named Bill that I've spoken about before, and another guy named Bill who owned APS Pharmacy. He was like my dad in the industry. Yeah. And he taught me the right way to do it. Well, it was really hard to compete with the guys that are doing it wrong when you're doing it right.
Yeah, because they're taking shortcuts.
Shortcuts, man. Yeah. And by God's grace, like 6 months into the industry, every pill mill got raided, and every HRT clinic shut down, and we were like the only people standing.
I think it's a lesson there because I heard a story, and that kind of if you operate unethically, you might think that you got away with it, but that shit can come bite you in the ass way later.
Well, I feel like they got off pretty easy on the HRT side, simply because...
I just mean companies in general.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, well, that's 100% correct. But when you're playing in our industry, one bad move could kill somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're really strict.
The margin for error is not there.
I mean, you understand margin of error better than anyone else.
Of course, yeah.
So, and we talk about this all the time. You came onto the company, and the company grew tremendously from your efforts, our efforts, and our coworkers' efforts. And we're at a position right now where we're playing just as much defense as we are offense, right? So we're making sure we're not making any decisions right now that is going to slow our growth down to our end game. Yeah. And that's the reason why we had that meeting today. I'm not the guy that can figure that out by myself. So, when I was in that small room and we grew from 20 patients to 150 patients, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I'm making some money here. Yeah. It wasn't what it was like now. Then obviously things were a lot more expensive. Yeah. In the beginning, now everyone's, the markets have been saturated, cost has gone up. Our cost has stayed the same, thankfully, because of the buying power and the business relationships that we formed over the years. But pretty much right off the bat, I realized that I can't be doing sales. I can't be doing marketing. I can't be doing fulfillment. I can't be doing customer service. I am not good at 90% of those things.
I was literally about to just talk about like Zone of Genius and your 5%.
Yeah,
and you brought it up. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like...
how long... So that was my question, is when you were starting like that and you were operating 300 square foot and then things started to grow, and you're burning the candle at both ends, at what point or how long were you into the business that you were like, okay, I've got to focus on what I do and then let other people and then grow your team?
So I'm going to go back.
Just where's the threshold that you make that decision?
So I did it not consciously when I did it back then. I am a believer that a business owner should understand every department of their business.
Yeah.
So when you're growing, there's 3 ways to be really wealthy in life, being a business owner. Number 1, you start businesses from scratch, what me and my business partner do. You know, we've started all of our businesses from dead scratch. Number 2, you come in, you buy bad debt, and you grow it. Or number 3, you're a lucky sperm cell, and you are born into the operation.
Neither of us are number 3.
Yes, number 3. There's nothing wrong with number 3. Can't pick our parents. We said that before in the podcast. Yeah. Sometimes I have friends that have made amazing things happen. Yeah. But those are the 3 ways you run a business that you can figure out how to run a business successfully in your growth, right? So for me, I'm number 1 there. So I really need to understand the departments. Well, and the business that I was in before, I was really on the sales side of things. So what my thing was is I want to remove right away all the things that don't make the wheels go round and round. What the real fundamental of the company is, which starts with what? Sales.
Yeah, of course.
So my first thing was to find a sales guy that could alleviate some pressure from me, and we could double down on the amount of patients coming through the door. And then from there, I brought in operations, really good operations. At this time, I'm still outsourcing a minute amount of marketing. As everyone knows, a lot of people know, I've only had Facebook social media for 3 years. Companies only had it for 4. And we've been around for 12.
That's crazy.
It's nuts.
It's nuts.
Yeah. And we did damn good without it.
Right.
We're doing really well with it.
Yeah. Right.
So, once I was outsourcing, you know, now we have an attorney in-house, a CPA in-house, marketing in-house, HR in-house, bookkeeping in-house. You know, we have all the aspects pretty much in-house now, and we outsource some stuff, obviously. But it took a long time to get to the point to where, number 1, the company can afford it. And number 2, I'd stop white knuckling those opportunities to be controlling outsourced parties. And as soon as I kind of came off the gas, it took me a while because I'm a control freak, right?
Yeah.
I'm a business owner. And
it's your baby.
I'm a baby.
Yeah.
20.
Well, I mean, the business is your baby. That's
the business is my baby, but I was a baby too at the time. Yeah. It was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I was 28 years old. And oh God, actually I was 29, 30. And
seems so young now, doesn't it?
It does. Oh my gosh. I hang out with Travis, you know, a lot. He's 26, 27. And he's super mature, like super dialed in, great kid.
Fresh out of the Army.
Fresh out of the Army. Good tendencies, good morals. But when you hang out with those guys, for some reason I thought Travis, you know, I think Travis is like, you know, 35 years old, whatever, you know, it is, but he was like the same age that I am when I started this thing. And, you know, I still think Mike Arrow's 26 for some reason because I've known him forever. But it's funny. So when I started to really, when you start your business, right, you're so scared about making money and all this stuff. And then it starts to happen. And then you don't want to let go of that money you're making. That's your biggest mistake. You have to reinvest. Like you have to do that. So for me, when I would take that next little baby step and the company would grow, I'd be like, okay, this is more tolerable. This is more tolerable. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to spend a little bit more this time. I'm going to bring this person in now. And finally, you build up that tolerance. Like I explained about payment tolerance, how scary it is to buy that first car when you spend $300 on that first car, and you're not as scared on the second car, but you're still kind of scared. And you learn how to be comfortable in those payments. It's the same thing with your business.
I think that people across the board have a bad relationship with money.
Well, that is very true.
And I don't mean a bad relationship as in the way they spend it, or the way that but literally the way they think about it, and the way that they want to control it. It's instead of looking at it, wealthy people look at money as a tool.
It is a tool. It's the only tool we really have other than our good relationships to grow.
Yeah, and so instead of being scared of like losing money, you know what I mean? They use it as like, I'm going to use this money as to get to move forward in life, or whatever that means.
Yep, exactly.
Opportunities, whatever.
So like, like the just getting by method.
Yes. Oh, Jesus.
Right. So I'm going to turn this interview around. Now I'm interviewing Nick. Nick, talk to me about the just getting by method.
I just get, you're going to get me all hot. I'm going to start sweating. I just don't like the thought. And Allie and I started this when we first got together, man. We had nothing. Man. We had both come out of divorces. I mean, we're like any money that we did make, goes to kids and goes to former spouses, and So, but we never poor mouthed ourselves. We never were like, I can't afford that or I can't do that. It was more along.
It's a mentality game when you do that.
Yes, because you immediately put your threshold here, and like I can't
break that threshold.
I can't break the threshold. I can't afford this. So when I hear people say I am 300 pounds, so I get on a phone call, with somebody who's like, I've already had a stroke, or I've got heart disease, or I've got this, I'm obese, I've got 3 kids, my dad died at 50. I'm 49.
I have type 2 diabetes.
And I'm like, okay, you're going to die if we don't fix this. So let's sign up for coaching. I can't afford it. Let me talk to your kids and ask them if you can afford it.
Yeah.
Like,
or I mean, at that point when it's like we talked about, like needs and wants, and wants and needs, that right there should go into like that need level. There's categories in life.
Yeah, exactly.
I want a new hunting rifle. I don't need it. I can do something to stay alive. I need it.
You need it, right?
Exactly.
And that's the thing is like, instead of saying I can't afford it, say, what do I need to do to be able to afford this? So Allie and I constantly were like, okay, what other job can we pick up? How much do we need to make? Okay, we're making this much and we need to do this thing. Or I need, for instance, I need TRT because I was in my early 30s and I didn't have it, right? VA is not going to give it to me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, how much is it a week? 35, 45 extra a week? Okay, so what do I need to do to make 35?
I got to throw newspapers.
Whatever.
Exactly,
you know what I mean? Exactly. But it's the mentality of like, instead of going, oh, this is my threshold and I'm not going to do anything about it. Well, then you're done for like, that's it. That's the amount of money that you're at the level of success that you're going to have for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. It drives me crazy. And I come, you and I are very similar, come from nothing, bro. High school dropout, like poor, lived in trailers, lived in Section 8 housing, poor, bro.
So there's a little bit of a counter, and I agree with everything that you're saying. There are people that are in a comfort zone in life to where their mentality is, I don't want more. I don't need more.
That's okay.
That's okay. But there are people that are surrounded here in South Florida. They act as if with no plan, right? Or they're trying to keep up with the Joneses and they have no plan once again.
That's my favorite story of yours.
Yeah, exactly.
When you had to get rid of all your watches and stuff.
I've always had a plan, but so there's some categories in some buckets in life that I put in place. Number one, health.
Yeah. Health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
Yeah.
And for me, it might sound biased, but if you need TRT and you're a business owner or you want to be a good employee, you better get yourself on HRT because it's going to change your freaking entire dynamic.
You are going to
no naps at 3:00, 2 hours to your day.
Yeah.
Have I told you the story about Porsche?
I told the story on a podcast, but I've from a third party. I told somebody else the story.
So I'll be
go ahead.
Brief with it. Dear friends with the owner of Porsche down here. It's the largest Porsche dealership in the country.
In Boca?
It's in Pompano.
Okay.
And I walk in there and I'm buying a car, and one of the cars I had to give away. Basically I'm looking around and I'm like, there's 15, 20 sales guys on the floor, places bumping. They had not now 4,000 or 5,000 cars in inventory.
Yeah.
And everyone's obese, everyone's moving slow except for a few guys.
Seriously, here?
One of them was a patient. They're all older guys, been in the industry forever, selling exotics.
Wow.
And I go to David, the owner, who I was dear friends with before he passed away. And I said, David, I want to do something. I want to run a little beta here. I want you to give me your top 10 sales guys. I want to run blood work on them. I want to narrow it down to 5 guys here. And I'm going to give them free HRT for 10 to 15 weeks. It's on the house.
For just the top 5 guys.
Top 5 guys.
That need it.
Mm-hmm. I said, if what I do helps your production go up 5%, I want you to roll out a program here for all your staff. If they sell a certain amount of cars, you pay for it. If they sell a certain amount of cars, you pay for half, so on and so forth. Well, the numbers on a Porsche are pretty aggressive, right? So 5% is a pretty solid number in net profit.
Okay.
We ended up being at 8%, and he rolled out a program for the entire company. He had like a 16% increase in revenue in the next year.
Just from guys being on HRT. Because it removes the brain fog, and it makes you just want to go crush life.
I mean, when I'm buying anything, I want to buy it from someone that like promotes the brand both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Like I want a guy that's like in good shape in a freaking polo shirt, doing the deal.
So there's there's the dude, right? There's the guy. So this is why I get frustrated, because like, well, I can't afford that. Okay. And then in the same sentence, they're like, hey, I'm starting this. I got this small business that I'm starting, this e-commerce business or whatever it is. Yep. And I'm like, so I'm all my time is in that. It's like, well, dude, why don't you invest in yourself? Yeah. And I guarantee things will start flying. When I started my first company, and it was kind of just stagnant. You know what I mean? I was just like, I didn't have direction. I didn't know where I wanted to go.
Well, I'm going to tell you that's important when you're starting a business, Nick.
But for my brain, though, my brain just was not firing on all cylinders. And I was just like, it was very foggy. And I was like, I'm doing this thing, but like, what's the next level? How do I grow? How do I make more money? And it wasn't until I went to the brain clinic and then got on TRT, and it was like I was on fire. Yeah. I immediately, when that stuff kicked in, I immediately knew what direction I was going.
It's interesting. And for those out there who have never taken HRT before, the first 20 weeks of HRT are the best 20 weeks of your life.
100%.
Because it's like...
Because you see the drastic...
It's a drastic change. Then your body gets used to it. So transparently, you have to pay attention to your actions. Yeah. Right? So that ego kicks in because you've never felt that good. Or your sex drive comes back and your ego kicks in because you can do what you want to do now.
Confidence.
Without issues, and raising confidence.
Yeah.
People are noticing your changes and noticing your clarity and your physical appearance. Your confidence goes up.
And that attracts everything.
It attracts everything. But there's also a negative side to that too. Don't be a dick. A lot of people I see go through that small range of coming onto HRT for the first time, and it's an ego play, not a confidence play. I noticed that. And
like also, being a dick to who?
They just have that chip from HRT. Like I've legitimately had friends I've given HRT to. They've been like kind of like, oh, look at me, I lost 20 pounds. Oh, look at me, I'm doing this now. I'm like, hey, bro, guess what? Go find that somewhere else. I'll see you later. Go pay full price. Someone did it to me. So, I mean, in a way more aggressive manner.
Way more aggressive way, yeah.
So
go back to listen to Sydney's last podcast.
Yeah, so it's an interesting way of changing your life because it is so dramatic.
So it goes back to what I was saying. Like, if you're one of those people that's like, well, I get that and I need it, but I can't afford it, and the VA's not going to give it to me or whatever, my insurance is going to cover it. Dude, who cares? Who cares? Like, if it's going to benefit you, why can't you change your perception to do something that's going to benefit you?
Exactly. So I have a staff member, Alison, who's been with me forever. She's amazing. She works her ass off for me. And she was never in the HRT world, right? And she worked for a real estate company, I believe, before she came aboard. She's been with me for 9 years, maybe 10. Don't kill me, Alison. And she saw the benefits within the first 2 or 3 weeks of working at Core and had her husband in the clinic immediately.
Really?
That's happened like with 4 or 5 different people. And then
how's he doing now?
It's been 9 years ago. He's a great guy. He's been in the Core family. She's been around forever. She's great, and it changes your whole family dynamic.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, when you're not feeling it, you're just not feeling it. Yeah. And there could be other reasons for sure. There's underlying issues there. Testosterone isn't the end all be all, but it's 90% of the time a good start. Well,
yeah, and then you look at but what's great about you guys is you guys look at the whole biggest blood panel you'll ever do.
Exactly.
And you find a lot of other things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great when when you turn that light on for somebody. Like I've had so many.
So what do? You got a friend. They wouldn't be your friend. What'd you call it? You create a self-cleansing atmosphere, which we'll get into. But hypothetically, you did have a acquaintance that tells you can't afford something, or like when it revolves around them actually producing more in life. And what I mean by producing more is not necessarily more money, but like a more meaningful relationship with your wife, a better dad, a better husband, better friend. What would you tell them if they came out to you and be like, and they had that limiting like factor in their brain?
So I take them out of the picture. What I want to do is, what I do there is I take it like really far, and I'm like, what would I tell you if you put a little bit of work and effort into this, that you could be in a position where you weren't worried about yourself and you could help others all the time?
Yeah.
Is that attractive to you?
It'd be attractive to me.
Yeah, it's great, because guess what? That shit's the most fulfilling thing in the world. I'm just right now in my life being able to start that journey like JP does.
Yeah.
Like he works hard, he makes money, but he's a 75-25 ratio now of working and helping others. And his life is so fulfilling and so amazing because he's constantly seeing results from others that he's influencing. And
he really cares. Like
he cares, dude.
He really cares about that.
That's like my goal.
That's like his mission.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool mission, and he breeds it, right?
Yeah.
So, and then they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, if you put some time in, you're going to get there. Like the concerns you have about you are easily fixed. And I, Mel and I always just say this. You say it too. Just get your blood work done, dude. Like get your blood work done. The proof's in the pudding. Speak to the doc.
But not even HRT. Like, would you? I mean,
I seriously.
Just in concept.
I mean, like, dude, I'm hard to deal with when you're being a pussy.
Yes. When do you tell people that? Do you be like, listen,
yeah, man,
you're being a bitch.
I tell people exactly how I feel.
Like, man up.
I tell people exactly how I feel. I mean, there's no reason not to. If something's bothering me, if I know that I'm correct, or I feel like I'm going in the right direction with something, I communicate it and wait for a response to prove my response incorrect.
Yeah.
It's the way you go about life. Otherwise, you're wasting time and meaningful in relationships that really mean nothing, and you're just watching people do stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like, either correct it if they can't handle it. See ya.
So that leads me to your self-cleansing environment.
Well, we were driving in the car, and Nick was like, man, you're freaking hustling. You're moving hard. And I contribute that to my massive issue with something called ADD, Nick. Okay? Yeah. And
it's a serious condition.
It's a serious condition. Guys, I have it. And those of you who know me will definitely agree. No diagnosis necessary.
No, for sure.
And so I said to Nick, he's like, man, you run around, you hustle hard, you move fast. So do I. And people have a hard time, kind of keeping up. It's kind of like intimidating a lot of times. And I backed it up by saying I learned how to use ADD as my most valuable tool. Mm-hmm. So, Jack, you might disagree with me on this, but I can multitask like a motherfucker. Like
you get a lot of shit done in your day.
A lot of stuff done in my day. Now, there's certain times where that ADD does still hurt, like the meeting we were in today.
Yeah.
I was fighting my phone a few times, but I knew it was so important that legitimately in my head, I talked to myself.
Well, it's also a personality thing, right? You and I are both very high Ds, so we're managing a bunch of things simultaneously.
Yeah.
So when people speak to us, it's like the saying that I stole from someone is speak faster or use less words.
Yes, exactly.
Like I don't need all the details. Give me the wave tops, and I need to be able to make a decision really quickly. So I need to move on to the next thing.
I mean, that's great because, I mean, I do that already. Like, I'm like, this is what I need. This is how I want it done. This is when I need it done. See you later. Boom.
Yeah.
And I know who I can delegate to like that and who I can't. We spoke about that in my other podcast.
Yeah.
But
working with different personality types. You can't be that with everybody because it gets overwhelming to some certain personality types. And
certain people you have to take the time with because the job they're doing is very different than the other person's. If I'm like, hey, call this guy, get him signed up, blah, 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 I don't have to do anything else. But if I'm like, hey, I'm here, I need demographic, I need this, I need all these numbers done for our business, it needs to be a slower, more calculated conversation.
Yeah.
So my staff has got to learn me real well. My friends have got to learn me real well. And I have a saying to where I've created a self-cleansing atmosphere to where like you're either going to be able to handle it or you're not, dude. And that's really what it comes down to. There's been people.
But who are the people that are exiting from the circle from that?
Typically the people that don't want to run aggressively in life. Like they don't want to be a monster in business. They want to be just, all right, let me just collect a check and I'll see you guys later. First one out the door, last one in the door, sitting in their car, smoking a vape till 8:59 in 30 seconds, and then running in the door. I don't have any of those that work for me.
And then looking at the clock at 4.
Oh, and then coming in the door is my favorite. I'm on time. Oh, I'm going to go get a cup of coffee at Starbucks up the street. I'll be right back. Like, okay. Your desk will be cleaned up when you come back in the door. I've done that before. And that tone. Yeah. People I've had, like, I have some staff members that can not challenge me, but ask me why I do stuff. I'm very close to them. Like, hey, Sid, like you took that angle on that staff member, and I'm just curious why. I would never do that to you, Sid, because I get it. But like, why'd you do that? It's because that stuff is so contagious in an office. I remove it right away. There's no second chance. Yeah. If you can't figure out that our time is so like valuable and how much opportunity you have here to make the company money and yourself money very quickly, you're in the wrong place. You're gone. Yeah. That's it. And, we talk about giving people a second chance and how to give those second chances properly so you're in the right. Yeah. And sometimes people surprise you. Yeah. Right. It's a learning experience. It's a real learning experience. And I learn every single day from it. But the one thing is that high pace with having staff members that are more calculated than you, because when you're that high pace, sometimes you're not that calculated. Yeah. That can kind of clean up a little bit behind you. That's also super important too. Like, yeah,
you have to have the Kaylins, the Rebeccas, the Allies. You have to because we're moving so fast. And I'm not the detail guy.
But those people, I wouldn't say those top coworkers, but those people that are in a place to be sweeping up the street behind you, they know you so well. Yeah. That they'll do that for you, and they'd be like, hey, next time don't even come to him on that. Right. Which is like the best. Yeah. That's like, hey, Kaylin.
Don't bother him with that.
Hey, Kaylin, come to my office. Here's $1,000.
Right, exactly. Exactly. You said, so that's basically, so you're talking about like self-clean, like it keeps the laziness, I guess, or keeps the people that don't want to,
I call it motivation. I just think it's motivation. Like my staff is so motivated. Our staff is like, the guys are so motivated. Like everyone is in the office just grinding. Yeah. It's great. And I can't remember the last time I had to like really crack the whip.
Do you think that the reason why they're so motivated is because of your amazing leadership? Yeah. Or do you think it really has to do with what they actually do and the people they talk to?
Well, I mean, the guys are super passionate. Like, I'm sure if you guys heard Travis, he's one of the newer recruits here at Core. Yeah. And he's dramatically passionate about his patients, being at work early, leaving late, making sure nothing is not unattended to at the end of that day. I mean, the rest of the guys are all the same way. But when you have a brand new guy come through the door and they're like that instantly, that's amazing. And it makes just like the guy said to us today, that makes my job a lot easier. Yeah. What do I want to do? Go in there and crack the web. Hey, bro, get off the internet, get on your cell phone and start working. Like we're adults. Right. Like someone listen, if you want to go on social media during your break, go right ahead and go on it. But like when you go to work. And I'll promise you, if you're doing shit like that at work, you're not working to your potential. No. There's a lot more.
A lot more in the tank.
That you're
leaving that.
Oh, I don't have anything to do. Well, guess what? I'm in the office next door. Just bang on the door. I'll give you plenty. Right. And I mean, right now at Core, I don't have anything to do. It just would never come out of anyone's mouth because it's kind of like, erupting. And it's been crazy. And these guys work so hard, and I care about how hard they work. And they are just so focused on, Core. Like they really are focused on Core. They're not focused on, what they're having for lunch that day. They bring their lunch and they make six figures and they're bringing their lunch to work. Like most guys are like, oh, I'm going to go out and, take an hour and have lunch and chill. No, these guys are on the grind. They enjoy their Friday afternoon, Saturdays and Sundays, and they get back on it.
Sometimes not even Saturday and Sunday.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But those guys want to do that.
Yeah,
we don't even make them do that.
No,
they just it's awesome. I mean, and you know who to call when you have somebody that needs to get moving.
So I'm going to bring up. We don't have to talk. I don't want to talk like I guess specifics because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But you brought up something, and this is something that we deal with on a regular basis. And I was having this conversation with somebody on my community text app. So if you guys see the number that says text me here, that's my group, app where I answer questions directly. So sometimes I get bogged down.
How do I get one of those?
I get bogged down. I'll hook you up, bro.
I don't want one of those.
No, you don't want one of those. I get bogged down with social media messages. So the people that are serious go through there. It's a lot less people.
Yeah, so, I mean, your social media messages are freaking insane.
I have some. Christian usually goes in there. Christian and Ali is the ones that go in there and kind of handles all that kind of stuff.
I mean, when you do those Q&As, it must be nuts.
It's nuts. So I have this text group, so it filters people out. People that are a little bit more serious. Anyways, I was talking to a guy today, and he was like, "Hey, why doesn't the VA do testosterone, or why can't CORE work with the VA and do that sort of thing?" And so I kind of, based off our conversation talking about, and you kind of clued it into me, but the VA is a federal organization. Federally, they are backed. The feds are backed by big pharma. Like, there's no question there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a taxable situation,
right?
Yeah.
So I want to, and I'm treading lightly, on purpose, but essentially HRT, and I'd never really thought about it in the way that you brought it up, but HRT is a threat to big pharma.
Well, it's not so. No, yes and no. Number one, compared to the money they're making on these other controls.
That's what I'm saying. It's a money thing.
Exactly. And you know where it's really where it comes interesting is I would go and sit down and bring in my clinical team, and I would teach the VA for free, and this is true, and not make a penny on how to service these vets properly.
They won't do it.
They wouldn't do it. Of course they wouldn't do it.
It's a money thing.
And then the thing is that, like, for me, like I've and I can't even imagine it for you. I've had a dozen or more guys call me and say, Sydney, I was going to put a bullet under my chin or in the side of my head or jump off of a building because I couldn't get my mind right.
Yeah.
All I can think of is...
So that was my point, is so the VA is a lot. And you know what? Doctors in general pushing a lot of SSRIs, right? Which, a lot of that can be, fixed. If you're on HRT, you won't need those things.
Yeah, I mean, we run a central fill on all of our patients to make sure they're not doctor shopping.
Okay.
For you guys out there that don't know what that is, it's a national database that tells us what controlled substances that you've been prescribed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and basically, I've never, explained this before. So I can go into this database and it tells me if you're on Percocets, Vicodin, Xanax, Valium, Klonopin. But the reason why we really use it, number one, is to make sure someone's really not abusing other controlled substances.
Yeah.
But the real reason is we don't want Nick coming to CORE and going to another HRT clinic, double dipping, taking 200 milligrams, coming off, making it look like they're not, and they could be hurting themselves.
Yeah.
But also with that, there's a lot of patients that we get on and we're like, this dude is prescribed freaking 25 milligrams of Xanax a day. That's
it's
an overstatement.
It's so bad.
And I used to look at those, and now it's like the whole clinical team take a peek at it in the pharmacy. But what's interesting is I have my meetings with my clinicians, and they're like, Sid, the same patient I saw a year ago has no controls other than ours on their
right, dude. This is my story. I mean, I had I call it the VA starter pack. It's like it's
like that animal pack you used to buy at
right.
GNC.
Yeah, right.
That yellow pills in it. Yeah.
Dude, literally 21 bottles of pills. And I'm talking like stuff to go to sleep. And I'm talking dream erasers, Prazosin, which is an adrenal. I didn't even know. Ali figured this out. This is way back in the day. It's an adrenal blocker. literally just blocking your adrenal glands. And
you guys don't want to do that, by the way.
Why?
Listen, it's all functionality.
Like you're supposed to have those things.
You're supposed to have those things.
Yeah.
I mean,
so those you got. They gave me Ambien to go to bed. They gave me ADHD something. What's that's based?
Ritalin?
No.
Adderall? Yeah.
Like basically crack, right? Like so
it's synthetic methamphetamine.
So they give me that to wake up. Mm-hmm. They give me Adderall to wake up. Something to put me down. Xanax to keep me calm.
I mean, God. It's quite a few controlled substances there, Nick.
They just mix them all together.
I mean, quite frankly, if there was a doctor in Boca prescribing all that, they'd be in jail.
Seriously?
Of course, dude. I mean, depending on the dosing and stuff, and depending on how many people they were giving it to.
Bro, that is a standard practice for the VA.
Yeah, I know.
And then I forgot about tramadol for the pain.
Oh yeah, and Percocets and Vikes if you wanted them. I know but
so that's what people are dealing with, and then you go in there to say, hey, and then you do a lab test, and you're like, hey, my testosterone's 195. They're like, oh, you're right at the low limit. You're fine.
Yeah. Right, but my liver functions through the roof because all the pain medication.
So my thing is it right? Yeah, my kidneys and liver shutting down, but no big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
So my question,
and I've been in 9 car accidents.
Right. My wife left me. I don't.
Things are on the up, buddy. Don't worry about it. You're almost there.
So my it's funny because of how bad it is, but the thing is I look at that. I'm like, why wouldn't they just treat hormones? It's money. It has to be a money thing.
I don't know. I mean, I guess.
Because at the end of the day,
for me, I could really give a shit about the VA.
Right.
I feel horrible for the guy that just doesn't know.
Well, that's
and there's probably
why do you think I'm like banging the drum all the time?
Dude,
it's an education.
It's an educational piece.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more we can do on that educational piece. And for me too, it's like, how many people a day are being just completely misdiagnosed, and how much harder is it making their life in our job in the future?
Exactly.
And it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
But the thing is too, is when you're transitioning off of that VA starter package, there's a lot of pain involved.
Yeah.
Like you have to be ready to go. It involves sometimes treatment,
you gotta
detox.
You got to be really mentally resilient for sure. You know what I mean?
It could be some of the worst 7 days of your life.
Yeah.
Xanax is the most addicting, dangerous drug in the world to come off of. You can die from it easier than alcohol.
Really?
It is the most dangerous.
Well, you know this from because your other. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, you have another business that's called
Guardian.
Yeah.
And we're one of the top substance abuse facilities in the country. And my business partner does an amazing job over there. He's got a great team. And the stuff we see over there is crazy. I mean, we've never had anyone pass in our facility because we're just very, very good. And, it's essentially an emergency room.
Oh, that's what it is.
Our detoxes are emergency rooms that are very well equipped.
So it's like very, very bad situations.
Very bad situations. I mean, it's everything. I mean, Xanax is like I want to freaking die for 7 days.
No kidding.
You're just in the worst shape of your life.
And they're just giving this shit out like Skittles.
And it's so addicting. It's addicting. But there's solutions, and substance abuse is a real thing. You know, and it's a hard thing. But the beauty of it is like that one, like that one guy who calls you up. I get I have a bunch of guys that like every year will send me a Christmas card. I have Christmas cards from guys that like wanted to like legitimately commit suicide. And I went through suicide in my family, and it's a selfish, ridiculously ripple effect is tremendous. What it does to you, the long-term damage to your children.
Yeah.
It's rough, and I witnessed it, and I went through it. I had to do a lot of work around it to get right. And the outcome there is like that happened to me for a freaking reason, I think, because the work around it too, because guess what? Like
I guess the empathy.
Empathy's huge. It's huge. And the great part is I'll get guys like that are calling me during Christmas time, like, hey man, I wouldn't have made this Christmas without you. It's like, holy crap.
So I actually, I put that in my book. I don't think, if you guys haven't read Excommunicated Warrior, the 7 Stages of Transition, it kind of talks about my experience with suicide and things like that. But I came to the conclusion as I started working with vets and started talking around the United States about these subjects, is I don't think people want to die. I think people are just in an extreme amount of pain and exhaustion.
Can't find the answer.
And they want to they just want to rest. They want their brain, or they want to feel relief, so they think that's the only option. They want that rest and the relief and the weight off their shoulders, so they're going to make a permanent solution off a temporary problem.
Yeah, and a lot of things that I've seen from the vet community is a guy will be like, hey, Sid, I feel like I'm such a glutton for punishment for my entire family.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't bring anything to the table anymore. Right. And I'm like, well, you know what you're going to do if you decide to
ruin them for life,
dude.
Yeah.
And it's like really a bad decision.
And then potentially their
I've
kids'
had
lives.
a lot of conversations with a lot of vets like this. It's just like in this industry, it's so rewarding. Like I think I've told you before, just like I get Christmas cards and thank you letters and this, that, and the other from those, from that line of duty and people that we've helped go in a different direction. Like people are 45 years old, they get their PSA check for the first time. You come to core, you're 29, 30. We get you check your PSA, it's elevated. Guess what? You might have cancer. We found 7 or 8 cases of it already, and we handle the issue at 30, not 45. And guess what? It's a walk in the park versus what you're dealing with at 45.
Well, because you've probably had it for a while.
Exactly.
At that point.
It's escalating. The sooner the better with cancer, right? Yeah. It's not like, hey, I'll just put this off and I'll figure out my prostate cancer when I'm 45.
Yeah.
Like for those of you guys out there, do demand a PSA test in your early 30s.
Once a year.
Yeah, it's basic blood work now, and then when you turn 40, you got to get the full deal done, which isn't great. I'm 43. I've experienced it. It's terrible.
I just had my first
dose.
No, my first doc say, hey, we probably need to get you scheduled for a colonoscopy. I'm like, oh, we're there. He's like, oh yeah, we're there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a give and take there, but a PSA test is simple when you go see your GP, general practitioner. They do a CBC comp metabolic panel. That's all they test for.
Yeah.
So checking for your white blood cells, your red blood cells, cholesterol, things of that nature, your ALT, liver enzymes, stuff like that. Just say, hey doc, even if I got to spend the $22, can you please add it to my blood work and get your PSA checked when you're young?
Which we do here anyway. It's standard.
Oh, it's on every single test.
Every single test,
We do a CR124 test for females, which is a cancer screen for every woman that comes to the door. So it's like, and test is on.
So that would be like ovarian, breast, everything.
Ovarian, but this is the thing. Your general practitioner doesn't do that most of the time unless you ask for it. So you be verbal. Find out what your family history is. If you have anything in your family history, do the work yourself, find out what tests you need to get, and find out what you need to say to get those tests. We're already paying so much for insurance in this country. It's ridiculous. And the last thing they want to do is pay for anything. So
that's what people need to realize. I think that, coming back to the whole thing about, it's much easier to get Xanax than it is to have somebody prescribe testosterone. It comes down to the money thing, right? But then
the scary part is that you have doctors now transitioning over into this pain management and mental clarity is what they call it. And these GPs are almost in a direction of like, man, I've been doing this for 25 years. The billable payable on this stuff, I was making $300,000 a year as a general practitioner. Now I'm making $150,000. I need supplemental income.
That's exactly what I was about to say is like, it's cheaper. So they're not making money. And they make more money off these big pharma reps coming in and selling their drugs.
Well, when you get on Xanax or Percocets or any of that stuff, you have to come see your doctor once a month. That's 12 visits a year. That equals $100 a year per patient. So another $1,200 a year per patient.
That's why insurance wants that money. They're not gonna pay for.
It's a lot of there's a lot of these guys are all cash pay. Those are the ones you should be very careful about. But yeah, man, it's scary. But Positive note.
Yeah.
Positive note. I want to express some gratitude to you and your wife and your team back there. It's been an amazing ride. It's been great to have you in these meetings. You've taught me a lot. It's been awesome. And Nick's a very, very busy guy, but I have a funny feeling that if you reach out to him and you have some real desire in life and some real direction, that he's a great guy to go to for some answers. So I'm not trying to add anything to his plate, but he's almost at the point here to where he's going to have to mentor one or two of you guys out there. So for his growth.
Say that.
Yeah.
We got that mentorship program.
Yeah.
It's the Always Forward mentorship.
Oh,
program.
yeah, that's true. You do have that program.
Yeah.
You just launched that program.
Well, we're taking names.
You're taking names.
I'm taking names. If you're interested, there's a link. You can sign up for it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I know Nick pretty well, getting to know each other better. Our kids play together, and we spend a lot of time together. We'll be spending more. And that's something I would definitely take advantage of if you're trying to start a business, be a better employee, be better at anything. He's, in the last 2 years, has been tremendous growth on his end. I'm allowed to say that. I'm 3 years older than him.
I'm a baby to Sid.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he was doing the deal when I was learning business.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I always say, and maybe I'm not, but I'm always like, and we've talked about that. I've always felt like I'm behind, even though I've done very well. You know what I mean? Like, we've done very well.
People hate this, you know, when someone's like, you're right where you're supposed to be.
Sure. But it's like I was in the military for 12 years. Granted, did I learn a lot of things?
That's what I was going to say. You wouldn't be where you are without those experiences.
No.
And you also did what you did for nothing. My circle, my close circle right now is all
me, us guys.
It's who I hang out with. I hunt with you guys. I shoot with you guys. You guys hang out with my family. My freaking wife's friends with all their wives. It's like
our friend in South Carolina. When you found out how much he made doing that job, what did you?
Dude, I mean, this guy is getting after it.
He's a badass.
Getting after it, and
he's like a nation hero.
He is. Like, he's a hero. Bad dude. And I spoke to him the other day for about 30 minutes, and it was awesome. He's doing great. And anyways, with that being said, I was like, dude, you could be running so for those of you out there,
he's so smart.
For those of you out there that don't understand Mars Soccer, a Beret or a SEAL or Delta, these guys can all be a pro athlete or run a Fortune 500 company. That is what the makeup is, in my opinion. Looking out, like with the community that I'm in, I've sat down every time I've met one. I tell them about my business right away, because they're like, oh man, you should maybe do this. I'm like, wow, that's great, that's free, thanks. And it's nuts, and the amount of money is just insane. But that hit your gratitude level.
Yeah,
that gave you that gratitude of thresh on money, and you haven't let that money control you. Right. When the money controls you, learn from my mistakes.
Right.
Guess what? It's a downhill slide. And from the fact that you came from that position of near-death experiences, witnessing the worst things on the face of the earth, you were doing it for the country and for you and for your team, for nothing monetarily.
Yeah.
That is a huge benefit, because you probably will never experience money controlling you like it did to me. That one thing right there probably made you excel faster than being out of the military and business.
You've said that a lot to me. You're like, you want to become extremely wealthy. Keep working hard, keep making money. Don't change shit about your living.
10 levels below your means. 10 levels. People compared to my peers, my partners, and they're like, dude, like, I don't get it. What do you own, 2%? No, dude. My bank account, I like my bank account with a shitload of zeros behind it.
I'm gonna drive a Ford.
I do drive a Ford. But yeah, it's been great, man, and I really appreciate the opportunity coming on here. And every time I do this, I learn so much more. And that's like a big thing for me, because you get in this like successful position and you think you got it, and like a lot of guys stop that additional growth because I could just coast, dude. I can just coast, but that doesn't really help me. I don't grow as a person. I can't help
No,
others.
man, like it's just you want to move forward in life, then I make jokes when we come down here, because it's like when I come down here, because I'm working on all my other stuff back home in my team, but I'm also working with your team.
And you're in the trenches.
Yeah, and I'm in the trenches, so it's like, it's fast, long days.
It is.
I love the last time we were down here, I brought Johnny because we had to do some bank stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, whoa. He was like, dude, we're moving like, I'm like, this is the way it is, man.
He's in the backseat going, was that a complete conversation up there? Like, how did you come up with that with like a 30-second? Yeah, it was crazy. He was like, that's nuts. But listen, that's the type of stuff that's like really important for people to see. Like,
yeah, I'm at jiu-jitsu until like 9 to last night, and then you text me, you're like, I'm going to bed, and then you immediately text me, you're like, 6 a.m., 6:30, I'm picking you up, we're doing circuits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then we're getting right after it, and that's it.
That's what happened. And I mean, I feel great doing that stuff, and I feel great like pushing myself. Like, that's so important. Like,
well, we talked about it at the beginning of the podcast, and it's like, you don't want to leave anything on your plate. So the reason why you work so fast and you're voice texting so much and you're responding to emails, and I learned a lot. Don't put anything off. Handle it right then.
My goal is,
at the end of the day,
my cutoff point is 5-6 o'clock.
Yep.
Then I start to accrue for the following day. But everything I need to address from that time until the next 5-6 o'clock is done and addressed before I leave.
Or passed off or whatever.
And that goes on a follow-up list or something else. But there is not, because I don't want, just like you say and I say, I don't want someone depending on me getting back to them or not doing my portion.
Or waiting on me.
I
want to wait on other people. I don't want anybody to wait on me.
I don't want to wait on other people.
Yeah.
But, all right, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you once again. And
yeah, man.
I'm not trying to end it. I know this is your show. But
well, this is actually, this is your birthday.
It's my birthday. Oh, it's my birthday's. That's true. It is my birthday.
That's right.
It's my birthday.
So when you listen to this, this is your birthday.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And you're how old now? 44?
43. Thanks, Nick.
43?
That's great. 43, 44. What's the difference?
None at this point.
There really isn't. And it's been this year's been going so well and going so fast. And I'm going to end with one little piece here. It's a gratitude piece. So I have a very good friend in South Carolina. And I just want to let him know that he's in my thoughts and prayers, and my whole team too. His son just had a baby and ended up having SIDS 2 months later and passing away this past month. And then the following week, his niece had a miscarriage, and baby was 21 weeks, gave birth, and she passed away. The baby passed away. So he had two little babies in a short period of time. And just wanted to say to him that, he's in my thoughts. If he needs anything, I love him. And the entire team knows you, and our heart goes out to you. So whatever you need, brother, we're here.
I think it's a lesson to everybody to be very, very thankful for what you have, regardless,
it's
right?
Huge. It's huge.
Because whatever bad day you think you're having, someone's having a lot worse day.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very sensitive for around kids. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
And he's doing
babies.
He's doing the best he can.
Yeah.
So I love you, Paul, and we're here for you, buddy.
So remember, be thankful. Be thankful. You know what? Tell somebody that. And I'll end it on this. You think you're having a bad day or you're feeling in the dumps? You know what you should do? Stop worrying about yourself. Go help somebody else out.
I love that. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, take that out of your own head and go help someone else out. None of that, and the whole basis for this podcast, the whole basis for my brand has always been never quit, never surrender, and always keep moving forward. And with that, you guys screenshot this, leave us a review, drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And we'll if you tag Sid, you tag me, you tag Core, we'll share this out. We'll get this information out there because people need to hear this. It will radically change their lives. So other than that, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Out.